We have a couple of minutes left, and I guess I want to ask two things. One, I'll just start with one. Can you tell us a little bit about what you see going on in neighborhoods around the city that's worth noting? Activities, organizing, community organization, anything that strikes your fancy right now to share?
Wow. That's a big question. Well, I mean, you mentioned before Honduras and everything going on there with the coup. There's been a lot of community events about Honduras specifically and just trying to, get the real word out about that.
Well, let's talk about that because that was going to be my next question. So tell us about what you know about Honduras, what people are doing locally, and maybe how the low-watt radio stations that you were involved with played a part.
All right. Well, as people probably know, the democratically elected, relatively leftist president was ousted in a coup by the military a couple weeks ago, and since then he's been trying to return and was trying to return even last night, and I'm not sure actually what the outcome of that was. There was sort of a news blackout for a little while.
Yeah, they had surrounded his house and everything because he was walking back into the country. That's what I had heard last.
So anyway, and there'd been a lot of the right-wing Honduran community, business community, and their supporters have had a real spin campaign. So people obviously in Honduras and then solidarity groups in the U.S. have been trying their best to counter that. The group La Voz de los de Bajo here in Chicago, which was one of the ones that set up the radio stations you mentioned, they are sponsoring a forum, I think, this Thursday, and then there's also a fundraiser for some of the grassroots Honduran groups on July 25th, this coming Saturday. There'll also be an event La Voz is hosting on August 1st. For details on those, you could go to the La Voz website. I think if you, Google, it's a long URL, but if you Google La Voz de los de Bajo Chicago, it should come up. I think one of the main misunderstandings, there's been this depiction that Zelaya, the president, was trying to extend his term indefinitely or something along those lines, and sort of being tarred. His connections to Chavez have been really played up, and the right wing's been really feeding kind of hysteria that Venezuela would invade Honduras, or this is part of some nefarious plot of Chavez to take over all of Latin America and threaten the U.S. or whatever. What Zelaya was actually trying to do was just allow a vote as to whether there should be a referendum to amend the Constitution. And even so, and I didn't even understand this fully myself until recently because there was so much misinformation out there. Zelaya wouldn't actually be getting another contiguous term even under any circumstances. So what he was putting up for a completely democratic process, was really nothing at all out of the ordinary for the U.S. or any other democracy. And the right wing really took this very minor and fully amendable effort that Zelaya was making to let people amend the Constitution and used it as an excuse to do what they've been wanting to do for a long time, which was oust him.
Well, I encourage everybody to keep watching this. The U.S. has looked good in the sense that they called for the restoration of the president's position, but Foreign Secretary Clinton has been a little rough-edged on it, so we're going to have to follow that. I want to thank everybody who made this show possible, certainly Kari Lyderson. I want to thank Susan Morgan Cooper, the filmmaker. I want to thank the kids and the people from the Menominee Reservation, Shannon Chapman and Barb Jersey, and also Megan Bang from the American Indian Center. I want to thank everybody who makes this show possible. Tune in next week. Katie Hogan will be your host. We encourage you to do good in the world because the world needs all the good that you do. All power to the people. Over and out.